because I should put it on. Ahem. I should put my mic on, shouldn't I? I don't think I'm gonna use my mic. We're just gonna talk. I hope a black girl hears this episode. Is it 37? I think it's 37. Or 38. We're not sure, but we're here. And you can't make someone see you or understand you. Many scenarios I could give out, but I've just learned and it's something that I would say, yes, I've learned. It's not something that I've always knew. I am a very, I wouldn't say confrontational. I'm just a very like upfront person. I don't have time to lie or be fake. It's not my personality. And I think it's something that I need to work on where I need to understand that there are people you can't change. And when you see people in general, don't just think like, yeah, we know there are and there's people you can maybe whatever, but think about how you just can't change everyone. For instance, the thing that Trump did, sharing pictures of monkeys and putting the president and his wife on it, Obama, like that was terrible. An awful thing. He's denying it. It's awful. He's denying it, trying to say he didn't post it or someone else did. Who cares? The point is we know the truth. And with that situation, you just can't change that person. You cannot make that person see your view. You cannot make that person see your point. There is no point. There's no point in you trying to make people understand you. And I think I've come to the realization of that, and I'm proud of myself because I am someone who speaks up and talks and gets so aggravated with the way the world is. But I think one thing that will help you mentally is if you can understand that you cannot get someone to understand. If that makes sense? You know what I'm saying? If someone doesn't see you in a good light, they're just not going to see it for you. You may know that you're a good person, you're kind, you're sweet, you're smart. Yeah, sure. Beautiful. You're black, a woman. But if someone doesn't see you that way, there's nothing you can do, and you have to know that. I'm not saying it's right what they're doing or how they're viewing you. I'm just saying do not waste your energy trying to change someone. Put your energy into letting people that love you know about you, know about who you are, what you do, where you at, like, what's up? You know what I mean? Put your energy into that. It's not the greatest when you see people that put their energy into, which I was doing, into people who don't want to change or care to change or will change. For instance, y'all know I don't support interracial couples when it comes to a black man and a white person. I just don't, or any other race, because there's a lot of self-hate within black men in our community that I see, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. That is me, that you can't change that, right? So if somebody were to be in my face and talk to me and try to change my mind about it, it wouldn't go well for them. That's something that you need to do on your own. That is something that also, people need to do on their own. There's just things that people need to change. Like, for instance, racism. There is, let me say, there are people who will change. There are people who will realize, oh my God, what I was doing was wrong. Or might have a crisis in their life and be like, wow, I shouldn't have been that way. But that's something for them to do. We can sit up here and preach all day about what we believe in, what is right, what we know is right. Racism is wrong, point blank, period. But I'm just saying, we could preach all day. And when it comes to YouTube and many other platforms, you are going to get all types of people. Most of them not going to like your content. Not going to like it. The people that have time to actually be on here and just bully people, yeah, they're not going to like your content as a black woman. They're just not. They're going to hate it. They're going to call you N-words. They're going to do so much stuff to try to put you down. I've dealt with it. It's not nice. It's not right. But then that's going to deteriorate you from your purpose and your motive, which was to help black women, me. Like that was my motive. And then having, these type of nasty people around will change how you view and what you do. Now your content should change. That's a blessing for your content to change. But if your content is only changing because you are finding that people like this thing that you're saying, but it doesn't feed you, like, say there's a topic that people like, but it doesn't feed you personally, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something else. And that's what I mean by people understanding you. There's also people that want to understand you for what it benefits for them. They don't want to understand you entirely. They just want to understand the parts that benefit them. For instance, I love my body. I'm gorgeous and I love me. You're not going to tell me I'm not. I don't care. But because I love my body, I do attract people who are superficial. Now, I'm not a superficial person. So it's like they see my body and they think I'm supposed to be a certain way and I'm not. It goes downhill real fast. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. So I hope a black girl hears this. You cannot make people understand you, but you can understand people. I literally will say it in a text message. I will say it in person. I will tell someone I understand, and I will not allow them, though, to think that they are going to be right. Just because I understand you doesn't mean you're right. That's one thing, too. I will understand a person, whether they're right or wrong. And I love that. And I respect that. Um, but personally, I don't think it's beneficial to think about people who don't understand you. I used to. I had to work on that. I definitely had to work on that. I used to be like, why doesn't this person understand me? Especially when it's people you like. If they don't understand you, it's like, dang, like, what the heck? But you can't really force someone to understand you. If they don't, they don't. If they do, they do. And you have to move on. I've also been doing something better as in learning how to just laugh. Like recently I was upset about something and I got in the shower and I was just like, usually I would just be so aggravated and angry and I'll just let it subside. And instead, I just laughed. That's another thing we need to do as black girls. We just need to have a good laugh. Just like be like, that's so silly. Take it serious, but not too serious. I guess that should be my best advice for when someone doesn't understand you. You can take it serious, but don't take it serious to the point where you're not getting sleep, where that's all you think about. That's not necessarily fun. Um, so yeah, those are some things. What other advice can I give you for this? Understanding. Don't compromise though. Don't say like to somebody you're right. Say you understand. That's maybe a video I should make. I should write that down. Don't tell someone you're right. Just say I understand. Because understanding someone doesn't mean that they're right. It just means you understand what just came out of their mouth. You may understand how they feel. You may understand what their plan of action is. It's fine. It's fine to understand people. I try my best. But it's like when people don't understand me, I get a little frustrated. I'm like, what? I try so hard to understand you. Come on. I get so tight. I get aggy. But that's out of your control. I had to work on understanding that a lot of things are out of my control and I need to specifically let it go. Let it go. Like I think about what Trump just did to Michelle Obama and her husband, and it makes me so mad. It makes me angry. It was nasty work. But that's out of your control. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. You can talk with your family members, friends. You could talk on here, say how, what they did was wrong. You could think about, like, ways to change maybe the media you see, but sometimes we can't control it because I didn't even know Trump did that online, and then I saw it, and I was like, it hurt my heart. I did not want to see the Obamas like that. Like, that was nasty. Nobody deserves that. Me, anybody, my enemy, nobody deserves that. So yeah, it's like with that being said, I can't control President Donald J. Trump from posting any of that on his media. But I can control my reaction. I can understand that, yeah, this is terrible. What an awful person. But then I also could be like, you know what? I'm going to go buy me a new bag. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, you do good things. And that's the best way to combat with that. I think that a lot of people purposefully don't want to understand stuff because it hurts their feelings or it hurts to know that they're a bystander. I feel like my biggest enemy in this world is bystanders, as in they don't like me because I will, bring it up. I'll bring it up that you were being a bystander. Like, say if something's happening to me or anybody else and I do something about it, I get retaliation. Then I look at you like, why are you even here? So bystanders do not like me. They hate me. They hate me, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. I was just talking to my friend and I said, you know the type of girl I am? If I see someone being bullied, I will step in. And it depends to the extent, because if they throwing stuff in it, that's another. But if it's like, I know this person is a coward and they're just doing that just because they think you are, weaker than them, but they don't know me, I'll step in and be like, what's up? What's up? It could be online, it could be in person, anywhere. I take it on. But what I don't take on is after I've done defeated or destroyed a bully, I don't take other people saying that I am the bully. You get what I'm saying? You understand? Not this whole thing being about understanding. It's like I've gotten that backlash as a black woman where you conquer a bully anywhere and bystanders are just like, oh, she's the villain. It's like, no, I'm not the villain. I just conquered the bully. Um and another thing my friend said, some people just don't make no goddamn sense. You gotta let it go. Some people just don't make no goddamn sense. Let it go. Let it go. Literally, like, your hair gonna be falling out and, skin gonna be dry. I've had this happen. Let it go. Just relax. Also, feel more comfortable with talking about these things, because I will say I feel uncomfortable because I've had retaliation for talking about my feelings or talking about the truth. It could be losing a job. It could be someone, trying to, make me get a bad grade. It could be someone that's shorting me from, some money or, a deal, or someone who cancels a date on me. Like, you'll have people that do things to make you feel like the double check that you're doing in life, like what just happened? What you say? Can we explain what? Like the double check. You know what I mean? The double check you're doing in life is wrong. The clarification in life is wrong just because they don't want it because they're scared of what's the truth. It's like we can all be scared, but why do we gotta act so dumb? Gotta act so mean to each other when we're scared. And another thing too, just understanding, like you as a woman, you understand people are just assholes. I'm not saying sit there and tolerate anything. I'm just saying people are just assholes. There's there's nothing, people that you can't change them. Drop it. Like for instance, I can't stand Cardi B. I don't like her. But I can't change her. No one can. Just drop it. Make that person irrelevant. You can't change them. You have to let it go. And that's when you can start to laugh. You can start to have a kiki moment. You can have some joy instead of just being so upset. Because I would say there were moments in my life where I was so upset that someone got away with something and where they treated me, what they said. It's happened so many times in my life because I'm just someone who speaks up and I don't fit in with crowds, but it's okay. Um, but there's not much I can really do about that. You know what I mean? There's not much I can do. Not much. Um, what are some other notes? I'm trying to think what I wrote down. Talk to friends. Get different perspectives, because sometimes, yeah, we can be in the wrong, but then other times that you're not in the wrong, don't consider yourself not in the wrong. That's another thing. I've had gaslighting situations where people, you know, they don't understand me, so they try to always pin me as wrong when I know I'm not wrong. And that can be dangerous because people are trying to get you in a mindset where you think that you're always wrong. And I think they do that to people who hold themselves accountable. I do. I hold myself accountable all the time. That's probably why, like, life's so hectic. But I hold myself accountable all the time. So you'll come across somebody who basically makes you think that you're doing something wrong just because they know you will admit you're wrong. They understand that you understand you know when you're wrong. So they push it. They try to gaslight you. They try to question it. But those moments, stay strong. If they're going to label you as like, aggressive, rude, they're going to label you as too much, calm down. Meanwhile, you are reacting to whatever you're going through as a black woman. There's a lot of things right now that black women are going through because of this presidency, and it's really bad. And it makes me annoyed because I don't like to be woe's me. I don't want to come on here and make content and be like, woe's me, black. Heck no. There's so many amazing things that we are doing. But I want to be real and say, this is something that we're dealing with where we have to acknowledge racism in a way of people are telling us it's not happening when it is happening to us. For instance, like I said, Michelle Obama and Barack being put on monkeys. Obviously, that is racist. However, you got Trump's people saying it's not. You got like hundreds of thousands of people saying that's not racist. Meanwhile, it is. I worked at a summer camp one time, and they thought they were going to have a crazy hair day. And one of the counselors, he was like a white man in his 50s, wore locks and a Rasta hat. And he wore it all throughout the day. The parents saw it, the kids saw it. It was an all white summer camp. There was only one black child, and they were biracial. And it was in Long Island. I made a video about this. And I left that job because I thought they were unprofessional. I didn't like the way they handled the kids. It didn't feel great for me. Like they were, I don't want to say, I had to say touching, but they were doing too much to the kids as if they weren't like 8 or 9. You shouldn't be helping an 8 or 9 year old go to the bathroom. And that bothered me because I'm a teacher. And I was like, it was like a swim camp or something. And it bothered me because I was like, you guys are doing daycare and other type actions, and I'm not okay with that. So I left. I got my check and I left. But after I left, it was like they saw that I was leaving and decided to send an email telling me that, we don't need your services. I'm like, yeah, no, I was leaving. That's why I didn't care about work. So then next thing you know, I sent the email and I said, just so you know, it is so culturally, I said so many things about that company, but I said, just so you know, it's so culturally inappropriate to wear locks on Crazy Hair Day. I might make a video about that because that's really traumatizing. Like, I was the only black person there. No, there was another black girl, but she was an Oreo. I'll be honest, she was an Oreo. If you're from Long Island, you know what I'm talking about. She wasn't really given like she was okay with like being standing up to for herself as a black person. So basically, I sent that in an email, and then the one of the head counselors goes, "Wearing locks on Crazy Hair Day is not culturally inappropriate. We've done it before." And I just left that message there because I was like, "You're talking to an African descendant. I am African American. Locks are a part of my culture. Y'all could say Rastafarian, whatever, but I'm just saying our hair locks up wherever you're from. It is Pan African, okay? Period. But it's like for I had a white person tell me that that was not culturally inappropriate. Just think about that. Like that was the weirdest moment of my life. That's the time we're living in. That is the time we're living in. So that's what I mean by when Michelle Obama and Barack were put onto those monkeys. You have people telling you it wasn't racist when we know historically what has happened in America. Like, that's what I mean by don't let people, you know, mess up your own understanding just because they don't want to understand. Being a bystander may hurt. Also, there's some people who are just racist and want to hate ethnicities and stuff like black people and stuff. There's just people who are just like that. It's awful, whatever. Whatever. They can do that over there, not over here. So you have that, but then also you have people who are like, this sucks. What's happening in this country sucks, and I don't want to see it, so I'm just going to not acknowledge it. Like literally, I'm gonna be running a story soon about Ron, that guy, Ron from Traders. I'm gonna talk about him because he has a crazy backstory. I think the show is really, really, really interesting when it comes to the crossovers. But I do want to talk about Ron because Ron has um I think a DV situation or something like that. Well, not DV, but like his ex-wife was a stalker or something. I don't know. Ron from Traders, y'all, if you watch Traders, give a like in the chat. Well, give a like because I don't have the chat on so I can focus. Um Ron had a white wife and he's heterosexual, right? He's on the Traders. He's the only one left, and that's an issue for me because I'm like, why are you the only one left? Meanwhile, all the other black people were really good to be on the show. I'm like flabbergasted, annoyed. Ron pissed me off with them patches in his head, and I will say offense because them patches in his head, like he knows that he was attracted to Portia. I think Ron was attracted to Portia and wanted her out. That is how I feel. I feel like Portia was that girl Ron always wanted. Mm-hmm. That is exactly how I feel. But also, I feel like Portia was just like, I want to go home. So she acted like she slipped up and said something. That's my opinion. Anyway, so back to Traders. So in Traders, you got Ron. And I didn't know who he was. I was like, who is Ron? I didn't even know Travis Kelce's mother was like famous like that. I didn't know who she was. So you got Ron. He's one of those type of people. You don't really know who they are. You know who Candace is. You know who Lisa Rinna is. You know what I mean? You know those people. Maybe if you, a lot of people watch Love Island, you'll know these people, but I don't. So Ron has a Canadian ex-wife that he married in 2020 during the pandemic. Like crazy relationship. You got to look into it. It's a crazy story. I'm like, this Ron did this. Ron married this Canadian woman, and then next thing you know, 2 years later, filed for divorce and said that she was crazy. Said that she was a stalker, was gonna take the kids away from him, and he put a restraining order on her. I was like, what in the tea? What in the tea? Ron? No way. Like it was giving like no way. Not Ron. But I digress. What I'm saying is, it's crazy to me because Ron is the only, with all this crazy stuff, he's the only person that's the black person that's still there. And I'm like, are you serious? Candace has a good relationship. Monet, all of them, they're all so great. Like the drag queen, the other lady from the gamer show, all gone. Portia, gone. I definitely know Rob is gonna win. Rob is gonna win because those people are in love and infatuated with Rob. If you watch Traders, you know Rob is going to win. They love him so much. Rob could legit say I'm the traitor right in front of them and they won't budge. The girls won't budge. They'll be like, "No, you're not. You're not the traitor. No, you're not." The show, I feel like they just want a man to win, so I'm not really cool with it. But I will say Candace is the reason why I started watching this. I didn't watch The Traitors before, it wasn't my show. But Candace really did her thing. Candace was, first of all, gorgeous. Everything about her, like, I love that she still has her natural features as a black woman. She did not erase them. And I also love that she dressed the part. It looked amazing. I feel like Candace is a genuinely a sweet person if you met her. But I feel like when she's getting into show mode, she has a right to be a Madonna. Things need to be in order. Like I could see it, sure, whatever. But there's plenty of people that are worse. I just like that Candace stands for her blackness and was in the White House. I do find that very impressive. I feel like she a DC girly. I like it. I truly like it. Um, I don't think that she makes everything about race. I just think that Candace, when she sees it, she knocks it just like I do. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are fearful to talk about it. Like, even me, I'll say, I get fearful because people, when they hear you talk about race, they get, mainly white people, they get so finicky. They feel so distraught. And I'm like, you don't have to like what I have to say. And I don't have to like what you have to say. But I've noticed when someone is a bigot, they're saved more chances than not if they were someone with a brain. Like, if you're a bigot like Trump and you say terrible things that hurt people, you don't lose your job. Not always. Let me say that. Now, if you are an educated person and you talk about history and you talk about facts and you talk about people's feelings as well, you could literally upset someone to the point where you get fired. Like, they do something. That has happened to so many people. It's happened to me. You know, I worked at a racist place before and I didn't know until I was like in there. But, you know, it happens. And then it has you messed up thinking, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't say anything because if I say things, it's dangerous. It's like, no, you living on this earth as a black person is not fucking dangerous. As in, you are not the problem. You are not this walking ring of fire. It's not you. It's not. You cannot change other people. That's it. You just can't. You gotta accept them, but also put up a boundary. Keep that boundary in place. Don't let it down. Anyways, it's getting to the 26-minute mark. I'm sorry I didn't open the chat or anything like that. But my name is Nia. I do these talks, I do these conversations. I hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully you can catch me another time talking about I hope a black girl hears this. Because there's some things that I just want to say to help you feel better. Bye, y'all.